morning, dear friends and family in Christ. It's a pleasure to share today's devotion with you all. So, the topic of today's devotion is the jar and the jug. 1 Kings chapter 17, verse 14. For this is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says: The jar of flour will not be exhausted, and the jug of oil will not run dry until the day the Lord sends rain upon the face of the earth. The context of this verse is the conversation, the miracle happened when Prophet Elijah meets the widow of Zarephath. So here we see, so Elijah before this he was in the Kerith ravine where he was fed by the ravens. So the ravens are bringing him meat and bread, and he has a brook there where he can drink water. So he was sufficient. He had no need. And then what happened was the brook dried. So now God is asking the prophet Elijah to go to Zarephath. There he told that the widow will give him food. So he told that he has instructed the widow to give him food. So Elijah knows that there is somebody that's going to feed him food, so he is going there. But if we look on the other side to see the status of the widow, she has just a fistful of flour in her jar, in that one jar, and then some oil in the jug. That was sufficient just to make a small loaf of bread for herself and her son. So her plan for that day was, okay, let me make the bread and then done. I have no more reserves and then I'm going to just die because I don't have anything else for myself and my son. So that was her plan that day. It's beautiful that how God meets the needs of the widow and the needs of the prophet through this beautiful miracle that happened like this. So she is out there gathering sticks. So if we she doesn't know that she's going to get food the next day or for the next meal. She doesn't know. So she's just gathering her sticks. And then Elijah comes and asks for water. And then he says, make some bread for me. And then she says, I have only this much of flour and oil just for myself and my son. And then Elijah says, you make some for me. And then you will have enough for yourself and your son. Then he says, the jar of flour will not be exhausted, and the jug of oil will not run dry until the Lord sends rain upon the face of the earth. Then she doesn't hesitate. She just goes and does like what she was told to do. It's amazing that how God meets the need of this widow through the prophet and how God meets the need of the prophet through the widow. So God is in charge of time and place and space and everything. He brings things together so beautifully. Every day we analyze and think of how things fall in place beautifully. It's amazing. Every day is a miracle. Indeed, once we came here, it was very difficult for us to find accommodation. In fact, thank you for those who are praying for us. Thank you so much. It was God's miracle every step of the way. When we came here, we just came with 5 days of booking in a hotel, and then Saturday, Sunday was in between. So at the end of the 5 days, we didn't have anything in hand, and we couldn't extend our stay in the hotel because it was so expensive. We couldn't afford it. But just on the fourth day, God gave us a contact, a friend of a friend, non-believer. We didn't know her previously, but they opened their doors for us so we could stay with them for another 3 days. Actually, they were so welcoming, so much helpful for us that time. And the third day we were there with them, and we could buy things for our house, bedding and kitchen stuff. And then by the time we were able to get accommodation with the university, it was amazing how things fell into place, how people brought people just at the right time, at the right place to help us out and to make things easy for us. So I was, as I was reading through this passage, I could see how God met the needs of the widow and the prophet Elijah through this beautiful miracle happening there. So they had enough to meet their needs through the famine. So it never dried out, it never ran over. It they were able to appreciate how God provided for them. So if I believe that it'll be this testimony will be helpful to somebody who's thinking that, who is actually with a logical calculation, okay, this is much, this much I have, it's enough for this much time, and what to do next, no idea. Then God is there at that juncture where things are going to run out, but God is going to extend things. It's going to be the provisions or the spiritual need. It's not going to dry out. Dry out. Don't worry. God is there for you. Just right there, waiting for you. Will meet your needs. Have a nice day. Thank you so much.